And as we were getting on this journey, um, I need to seek out and learn. If I don't learn, the business is gonna stop growing. I'm gonna stop growing. I'm gonna, hit a ceiling. And then if I'm not going up, I'm gonna be going down. So maybe that's a fear in me that's also driving that. Like if I become stale, I feel like I'm gonna go downhill. And in order for me to be uphill, I always have to be learning. So that's kind of been my mentality and the focus. And I hope that's going to continue along the way.
Vitaliy, we always in the second half of the interview like to ask people just practical, like get wisdom from you. And so I am curious just because this relates to me personally, but you're in your 30s, you have three children, married, growing business. How have you balanced having a thriving business and a growing family? How have you balanced that over the years?
It was a challenge. So I've been blessed with a great wife. So she has been supporting me along the way. But along the way, we also had some family challenges that we went through. So like 2000, what's it? Actually, 2011, 12, 13, we're gonna hit some pains in our marriage just because I was focusing on business quite a bit. My wife was home. She used to be a stay-at-home mom, and then that turned into I don't want to do that anymore, and I need to find myself. So she was trying to find, what can she be? I wasn't around at that time, so we went through a phase of our marriage where we really got tested, and we came very, very close. But God's grace, we came out of it, and we're stronger as a family right now. And then 2018, we we're trying to adopt a child um, that was with us for 5 years, almost 5 years, and then we lost her. Her mom came back into the picture. We couldn't keep her. We fought because the mom should not be having a child, and then we lost her. So that was devastating for my wife. And for the last 2 years, she's been recovering, trying to get through that. Um, it's been a blessing over the last few months, actually, Lloyd. That's I know you're praying for that as well, and I think there's God is answering the prayers, and I see a lot of good things that are happening out of it. So it hasn't been easy. Hasn't been easy, and I think starting the 100x program, realizing that okay, I need to be a faithful man of God across all areas, and family was the one that usually is left behind. So that was one of the areas I'm like, nope, I can't do that. So I started dating my kids on a weekly basis. So I set that time aside, and we were doing dates with my wife on a regular basis. Trying to support my wife and starting her own business as well. And she always wanted to be a designer. She's a great designer, so she's doing flips right now. So she's kind of getting out of her depression into that, and she's all excited right now. So the road hasn't been easy, so we had kind of a few snags along the way, but by God's grace, we're a lot stronger right now than we have ever been.
I'm sure there's lots of people listening that have done the same, gotten caught up in their career and the requirements of work, and have some regrets. Can you talk about how you have made the transition? It seems like the 100x programs help, but how you've made the transition to start like focusing on your kids and how you're making up for lost time.
Yes. So I mean, again, a lot of our guys in business who probably heard it from our wives at some point that we're not spending enough time with them. And then as moms, they care a lot about the kids. So then that turned into hey, our kids are getting older, and you got to spend more time with them. They need a dad in their life. And I was trying to do that, but I don't think it was my kind of first focus. You know, I was telling myself I did the best I can, but in reality, I don't think I really had that as a mission to focus on it. It was more, business and a lot of things that are happening. Even church kind of took priority over that, and we were doing a lot of things. And I think the 100x, I think that gave me a big realization of like, okay, if I'm a faithful man of God that's called to, you know, impact leaders, younger leaders, I have to have my priorities in place. I have to be faithful across all areas of my life. Otherwise, I'm just being fake to myself and I'm not being faithful, right? So I can't call myself a faithful man of God when something that God has entrusted me is potentially is not on the right path. Um, so that was, I think, a big realization for me. And I'm like, okay, right away, like, okay, we're doing uh, two family vacations a year. We're doing three missionary trips together a year. We're doing weekly dates with my kids, and then more time with my wife. At first, my wife like, okay, let's. This is just another thing you're doing, right? So she, I don't think she believed me at first. Now she sees it. She's like, okay, are you going on a date with the kids? I'm like, yes. So she's enjoying it. I think she's seen the fruit of it, and I've been praying every day to make sure I keep that and I'm faithful at that. Because again, my boys are 12 and 11. One of the things that we did this year too is I figured, okay, um, I need to spend time with my kids. I love my kids, but what are the things we can find that we can do together? So we settled on dirt biking. So I went out and got dirt bikes, and we're starting our dirt biking journey with two of my boys. Um, and that's something that's been a big change.
That's awesome. What is some of the things you've done with your daughter?
Um, so we have been getting, so we got our kids on all their mission trips very early. Like my younger was, I think, 2 year old when we went on our first mission trip. People thought we were crazy. So my whole family is involved in missions quite a bit. So I think that was her growing up in that environment on a year to year basis. Allowed her to be a certain person as well. I can't say that I did that intentional. I think God led her into become a leader and a coordinator right now. At 16, she's already coordinating teams within the Mexican mission trips. So it's been a big blessing. On a weekly basis, when it's her turn to go on a date, we go to a restaurant. We do something that's fun. We go shopping. Uh, we did actually went gun shooting. So that's interesting that is. So we went out and we shot some guns with her. She really enjoyed it.
You have to protect her from those boys like you.
Yeah, that's exactly what I told her. So I told her, any boy that's gonna come through, I'm gonna take him shooting at first and spend some time with him. We've been trying different things, so I'm letting them choose the place where they want to go on a date. So that's been a good one.
That's awesome. Lloyd, do you want to jump in with a question?
One of the things I noticed, Vitaliy, about you, since I get to watch, literally dozens and dozens of high capacity leaders every day sitting coaching on their journey, is that you're an intentional learner. You seek out people who are 20 yards ahead of you and you go hang out with them. And Linda said the other day, she said to you, so many people would love to come spend a couple of hours here with me. And she said, you just called up and said, can I come for the weekend? And then you came over. And she said, that's just great. I mean, and then you went and spent time with the, largest home builder in North and South Carolina, and you took your whole team. So take us inside your learning mindset. How do you pick where you're going to learn from? How do you put it on your calendar? How do you prioritize it? How do you have the courage? And how do you keep track of what you're learning and put it into practice?
That's a great question. Um, when I got into the business journey and reading a lot of books, one of the quotes that kind of stuck in my head is, "If you're the smartest guy in the room, you're never going to get anywhere." And I don't know. I think that phrase stuck with me for the last 14 years, probably. Is Yeah, I have a ceiling, uh, uh, and I need to be real with myself with what I know and what I don't know. And as we get on this journey, um, I need to seek out and learn. If I don't learn, the business is gonna stop growing. I'm gonna stop growing. I'm gonna, hit a ceiling. And then if I'm not going up, I'm gonna be going down. So maybe that's a fear in me that's also driving that. Like if I become stale, I feel like I'm gonna go downhill. And in order for me to be uphill, I always have to be learning. So that's kind of been my mentality and the focus. And I hope that's going to continue along the way because as I get more and more on this journey, there's so much more to learn, and there's so many people that are way smarter than me that have done things that I want to do potentially that are spiritually at a different place or family and things like that. So um, what I've been doing, I've been kind of looking at the areas I want to improve on, and I would reach out and see who the people are um, in my life there. So when I was younger in my 20s, uh, I searched the internet for mentors, and I could not find anybody that I could learn from. That was something that like stuck with me. I'm like, okay, then I got into books. Okay, I'm gonna learn from books. If I can't find anybody that can kind of share the same worldview and from the Christian side, and with our community, there's really no business leaders that I know of that I can reach out to even learn from. So the books became my next thing, and then God started sending people in my life. Okay, learn from this guy, learn from this guy, learn from this guy. And every opportunity to learn, I see that as God opened a new door and invited me to go out and learn something and get better at something. And I think with
And
that mindset in place, just even having that mindset, you're already looking for opportunities to learn and you're looking for people to meet.
And Vitaliy, just to clarify, when you say in your community, you don't mean Seattle, but you mean in the Slavic community, there's this disconnect between faith and business, and and it seems like they're either need to be completely separate or incongruous. And so it's harder for you to find mentors. And, Mike, I wonder if that has really kind of, in a sense, forced Vitaliy to look intentionally, right, for people that are ahead a little bit. And you've done the same thing, Micah. What have you learned about this topic, Micah, of really intentionally learning from, let's say, for you, Kimmons Wilson, for example?
Well, I was actually meeting with one of my young guys from work this morning. I was telling him, he was asking, how do you find mentors? He's like, you have all these mentors. I was like, what I learned is you just have to ask. I was like, a lot of the guys I've asked over the years, some of them have never returned my call or whatever, but a lot of them I have sought out have been like, I'm so honored. I've never even had a guy ask me to mentor them. And I've made the ask small enough that they were willing. It wasn't an overcommitment because I learned early on if I was like, can we have breakfast every month? These guys have families and grandchildren or, businesses and commitments. And I was like, so now I ask guys, hey, would you spend an hour a quarter with me? I'll take your time very seriously. I'll come prepared with a list of questions. And if you'll invest an hour in me, it would, really help me. And I'll really honor your time, and I'll come to your office or set up a Zoom, or I'll do whatever works for your schedule. But I've made the ask much easier. And then I always write them a note afterwards and tell them something I learned from them. And I think that if you take their time seriously, then they're willing to invest it in you. And then as I've gotten older, I have 3 kids, a fourth on the way, and I've like now I'm seeking mentors about being a better dad and better husband. But early on, it was all business. It was like, hey, I was trying to find Christian business guys who were good men, but also ran excellent businesses. And now I'm trying to, try to find different. And then Lloyd knows he's been nice enough to introduce me to a lot of guys who have a large generosity component of their business, because I'm trying to use my business to be radically generous. And so Lloyd has been kind enough. But I've used people like Lloyd to say, hey, I'm trying to grow in this area. Who do you know? And who could I talk to?
And Vitaliy, this, you'll love this, but Micah's byline or mission in his business is to become the most generous real estate company in America. So I told David Weekly, you better watch out because Mike is coming for him. And now Vitaliy is just 5 years younger than Micah. You could catch up.
No kidding. I hope you do. I hope all of us do it together.
It's not a
Amen.
Let's change the world the way God meant it to be, right? So when God created the world, He made it perfect, and
Amen.
then people came along and sin came along and we destroyed it. So I think if we look at it holistically, that we're just restoring what's already His, and we're on the same mission together. I think that's exciting. And I agree with you when you were talking about just asking. That's kind of been. I'm not afraid to ask. I'm not afraid to admit what I don't know and what I'd like to learn, and that opened up so many doors. And people are willing to share. And a lot of people are afraid to ask. So I think that's fully agree with you. I think the more people can just get over their fear and just ask for help, for people they look up to, like that's all it takes. It's not scary.
Yeah, that's right. Vitaliy, how are you navigating the economic challenges of being a home builder on the West Coast right now? Like practical advice, how are you processing? I know it's stressful. So how are you processing that, dealing with that as a business owner?
So before 2 years when things were great, and we had 15% year-to-year growth in our real estate, which was like crazy. And our profits were huge, but from the very beginning, we structured and we were focusing on cost. Like we wanted to know our costs, we wanted to control our costs, and we wanted to do as much as we can to reduce the costs. And that foundation was laid out from the beginning, I think, where we we go to the core, we eliminate a lot of the middlemen, we order our own material. We, sub out labor only. We can control that through smaller subcontractors within our community. So we created this atmosphere within our business, focusing on cost, and we're on a journey to eliminate waste. Eliminating waste and kind of lean approach to business. That's something we've been learning a lot about over the last 7 years. Manufacturing, I'm sure you're familiar with lean and lean manufacturing in general, and manufacturing was easier. We get some consultants, so we know how that's done on the manufacturing side, but in home building, specifically with infill developments, it was harder for us to implement. But that's something that we've been on a journey. So, and I think that journey and that approach of continual improvements and looking for things to improve, and that creating a culture of improvement within the business allowed us to be ahead of our competition currently, because our prices, they haven't fallen much. I mean, 5 to 6%, but the costs got up so much that the margins get squeezed. So if you're not controlling your costs, that's what happened with a lot of builders in the area, especially infill builders, is that they're upside down on a lot of the projects. They either bought high, or the costs got up so high that they weren't controlling it, that they're losing money. So our margins went from 20 to 10 to 15% right now on our product. So we're blessed, but that's because we eliminated a lot of the middlemen in the middle by buying direct, subbing out to direct contractors that are actually doing the work, which is typically in the industry is about a 20% markup for most of the builders. So that environment, and I think that foundation that we built from the very beginning to control costs and eliminate the middlemen, allowed us to thrive right now. And a lot of builders, quite honestly, are dropping right now. They're not surviving in our area. we're able to march forward and go after a mission to build to bless 1 million people, while other people are falling behind.
Vitaliy, you recently had a pretty significant catastrophe with your house burning down. It's interesting that it was at the celebration of a bunch of the immigrants getting through their language training, I think, and so there's fireworks going off, and then your whole family's in bed at night, and the house catches on fire. So take us through that a little bit and how you process that as a family. And that's a scary thing. And coming through the other side, not only did you lose all your belongings, but gratefully no one was hurt. So talk a little bit about what you've learned in that crisis.
Yeah, it was it's an interesting story. Now we can maybe laugh about it, but that time was a little bit scary. So we hosted a few weddings at our house the last couple of years, and with refugees coming in, one of the younger couples that came in, they were not married, they're also not Christian, and we're kind of mentoring them and taking them through life. So they wanted to get married, and we offered our house, and we had a small wedding at our house with about 60, 70 people there. And at 8 o'clock, we decided to shoot some fireworks. My house is very modern, so it has a rooftop deck on it. So everybody went outside, and then the fireworks were shot from the roof, and the boxes from the fireworks were left on the deck tiles, and the boxes were melting inside. And we shut off the fireworks at 8 p.m. And at 3 a.m. in the morning, we got woken up by an alarm, and our roof was on fire. And luckily, we got woken up early. It didn't burn down into the house. It was the fire was trapped inside the trusses, so there's a lot of roof damage. But then when we got out of the house, that's when the fire broke down. So outside of once we were outside, I knew the whole family was safe. Nobody got hurt. The fire was still contained. I felt we were blessed. I mean, if we were half an hour later, or if the alarm didn't go in on time, because there was no smoke underneath, it was all trapped inside the ceiling, and it was spreading inside the ceiling as well. So the reason it triggered the smoke alarm, because a water pipe that was right above the alarm got burned, and a lot of water got into the smoke alarm. And I think that's what triggered the alarm, actually. So once we kind of got through that, everybody was safe. Like, okay, God, that we're doing this, we're helping a lot of people, and we're gonna trust you in this as well. I had peace. Outside having everybody's safe. I mean, things are gonna work out. We had peace, and I think that comes from God. It cannot come from anywhere else, because everybody else. I mean, the people that came from the wedding, they came next day. I mean, everybody was devastating because nobody could believe what actually happened. So and that opportunity actually, that fire became a blessing for us to minister to a lot of the people on how to deal with stuff like this. Like, yeah, a lot of people will be blaming God, and why would you do this to me, right? I mean, we did all this stuff, and we've served, and we've helped a lot of people, and there could be a lot of pride to start blaming God in that. And we're like, oh, we saw that as a blessing, and the way we reacted to it became a huge thing for people when they were looking at it. Like, why are you guys are weird. Like, why are you thinking God is taking care? Why are you so peaceful? Why are you not freaking out? You just lost a house, you have no idea what's going to happen. Later insurance came through, right? So we're doing a remodel. My wife is excited to rebuild the kitchen and the house. We only built it 5 years ago. So it was a brand new house. I'm like, well, now is a chance for you to do a remodel and fix the things. When you build a new house, you obviously, you miss a few things, and then you want to reduce some of them. Like, this is a perfect opportunity. So we had peace, and then I think by trusting God, like, God, this is a blessing. It also helped us to get out of this kind of busyness. I mean, we had a lot of people. We had a few hundred people that were relying on us, immigrants, and every week I was busy, my wife was busy, and this separated us a little bit, which gave us, I think, a lot of like we were not doing much for 2 months, and that we were burning out at the end. So when we kind of realized that with my wife, like this could potentially be an answer of because we were burning out, we were doing a lot, we didn't know how to get out of this, right? I mean, once you have so many people relying on you, then it's like, okay, I'm kind of stuck in this. And that, I mean, we saw that as a blessing almost from, day two, like, okay, great, God is doing something. This is an opportunity for us to get closer with each other as well. People will have an opportunity to get on their feet by themselves because they're relying on us too much. So from all over the place, like I don't know, it's a huge blessing, and me and my wife, I think we're on the same page from day one. So
That's awesome. Vitaliy, thank you for your time today. This has been fun. I love what you're doing. I hope you do bless 1 million people in the next 26 years. I have no doubt you will. And just thank you for investing your time in us today.
yep, no problem. I enjoyed this. So hopefully there's a few people that can learn from us as I was seeking out to learn from other people as well. But I am excited. I think even with you, Micah, what you're doing with other people and you're introducing us to. Again, there's no competition. We're all doing ministry for God, and we're called to do that. And God has entrusted businesses to us and a lot of people within that. So I do believe it's our responsibility to be faithful in that. So.
Amen.
Thanks, Vitaliy.
Thank you for listening to the 100X podcast. Please subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast service. We would greatly appreciate it if you could rate the show and leave us a review. This podcast is sponsored by Anchor Investments, whose mission is to build America's most generous real estate company. To learn more, please visit anchorinv.com.